Disbursement is guaranteed. Disbursement is guaranteed. So guys, I know these things have been taking so long for it to manifest, and we are almost losing hope. But according to what was saying in this video, that disbursement is guaranteed. So guys, listen to this information, because I want you guys to pick something for what was said in this VN, and let's continue this conversation in the comment section. Subscribe to the update, and bye for now.
Let's start with the viral post of Pastor Obinwagbo this morning, soliciting for peace and reconciliation between the factions and foot soldiers of the UAAG and the AGPGN. He called for reconciliation and peace, hence disbursement can take place. And immediately this post was circulated across the WhatsApps and the Telegram groups. Same foot soldiers of UAAG came on to debunk, attack, and even criticize the post of Pastor Obinwagbo. Some claim that he is lacking information. And you can't help but ask why same members, same promoters of UAAG attacking each other, disclaiming posts emanating from top official of the UAAG. Why would anyone say Pastor Obinwagbo is lacking information and people should not rely on such updates? It's likened to saying the chief of staff to the president of Nigeria is lacking information. If Pastor Obi is not giving the true position of activity in the ecosystem, who else have the information? Is it the foot soldiers or the promoters of the UAAG that have authentic and recent information of activities towards disbursement? The most disturbing aspect of this is the way they divide against each other, the infighting between the UAAG and fellow UAAG officials or foot soldiers. This shows lack of coordination and discipline in that organization. Leadership entails calling all workers, all officials, all foot soldiers and promoters to order. There is need for coherence of information dissemination. In an organization where you see anyone standing elsewhere, sending information, giving updates, no specific individual spokesperson that is singled out to disseminate information to its teeming supporters, that shows incoordination and indiscipline in the entire leadership of the organization. So we don't expect people to criticize a post published by a top-ranking member, a national representative of UAAG. That is in one part. And in the other part, there are some grant subscribers that are expressing disappointment in this post of Pastor Obinwagbo, owing to the content of the post. Some believe the content of his post reveals disbursement is not going to take place in June or any soon. The reverse is the case. Some think there is no grant at all to disburse. Some other audience of subscribers believe that disbursement of UAAG grant is going to end in futility like previous grants like Ishiba, Telpacon, SEM, Golden Bridge, or Theobarth Global Foundation. It's far from this. That is why I'm coming on here to set you on a definite direction or expectation. It's far from thinking there is no money to disburse. There is money to disburse. I keep saying this. You won't see all this infighting. You won't see all this conflict between two warring factions if there is no money to disburse. The fight is even because there is money to disburse and they are battling on who to hold grip or authority or mandate to disburse the grant. So money is there to disburse to the masses. Before we proceed, it's important to point out that Pastor Obinwagbo posts lack specificity today. It's different from the regular posts that we know. It's important he should have spelled out his observation in the ecosystem, specific realities that is delaying disbursement instead of speaking in parables. This is not a time to speak in parables. It's a time of mentioning names, specifically mentioning contributions of every foot soldiers, every national official, or even the country director's contribution to the delay of disbursement. It's the time of revealing specific truth to the masses. Instead of speaking of reconciliation and peace, it should specifically mention reasons why people should reconcile at the moment. He talked about former President Goodluck Jonathan calling President Buhari, congratulating him just to bring about peace. Is he insinuating that Apostle Ambassador Ken should call the AGPGN president and congratulate him? It's important to be specific, speak in specific terms at the moment. If the UAAG are losing the grip of the grant, he should be bold and courageous enough to tell the masses the truth. He talked about reconciliation of A and B, hence disbursement should be fast-tracked. And again, instead of speaking generally, it's important he should list out names of those that are fomenting trouble, sowing hatred and division in the ecosystem with their voice notes and posts across the platforms. We know them. After all of them used to include their names at the end of their post before publishing them on the platform. He knows all of them that are in the UAAG camp, creating hatred and division with their posts. Starting from Barrister Oga in the think tank team, Pastor Tochukwu, Osim, Kendra Investment, Joyce Lovely, Pastor Donald Obasi, Bishop T. Ambara, Agbala One of Niger Delta. Mention specific names. We know their contributions in the ecosystem and the damaging effect of their post on subscribers in this ecosystem. This is not a time to be beating around the bush. It is a time of calling names and mentioning individual contribution just to ensure the masses have clear directions of occurrences in the ecosystem. From the period where people started saying this is Kogi AGPGN, we know tribal sentiment has set in. From the period they said Muslims are taking over or hijacking the grant in the ecosystem, we know religious sentiment has set in. If you truly desire to create societal and social stability and peace, you must sacrifice religious, tribal, and friendship loyalty and ascend the universal status. This is the only conditions that the society, the grant ecosystem need to be able to move forward, although this has nothing to do with disbursement expected. And again, it's important to look at the origin or the source of all this division, the source of all this hatred and post of animosity in the ecosystem. From antiquity, the rich class always uses the caveman instinct to divide the middle and the lower class. They sow seed of hatred amongst the lower and the middle class. Hence, they will not unite together and fight or revolt against their leadership. It's evident everywhere, starting from the current American society. The blue states are fighting the red states. Christians are fighting the Muslim globally. The blacks are fighting the whites. In Nigeria here, the PDP are fighting the APC, APC fighting the PDP. In the grant ecosystem, the UAAG are fighting the AGPGN. Now currently, amongst the UAAG members, fellow UAAG promoters and foot soldiers are fighting each other. It's quite a disheartening scenario in the ecosystem, and it implies that there are forces, the rich forces, at the backstage instigating all this fight. These people are fighting each other not because their leaders have good credibility, but because the leaders is from the same tribe with them, or it's because the leader is their business partner, and because of the expectations, the profits and selfish gains embedded in this relationship, they have to fight even fellow member of the same organization just to prove their loyalty. Literally sycophancy to their own leader. The grant ecosystem should learn to observe one common cause, one common purpose or goal that defines everyone, that brings all subscribers, including the top ranking members of this organization. What defines all of us that keep us in the ecosystem, if not the money? At this moment we are standing, What every subscribers were expecting was by today in this week, there should have been announcement of the MOU and the arrangement for alert to start trickling in. And we are still here at the last week of June 2024. Instead of publishing information or directive on the alert on disbursement, they are again calling for reconciliation. Instead of the whole disheartening news circulating in the ecosystem, there is good news in all this. Don't trouble yourself if you are a grand subscriber. Nothing has changed from the disbursement everyone is expecting. It is as a result of all these fights, government decided to step in. You might have heard even from Apostle Ambassador Ken Wakama of the UAAG and Comrade Abdurasak of AGPGN that government has taken over the whole grant arrangement. And if not because of this government taking over, as a result of the whole conflict in the ecosystem, we should be celebrating disbursement by today in the ecosystem. But still, we are at a steadily progressive state towards disbursement. Few things happen. Government set in, take over the whole administrative aspect of the process, review the entire activities of the AGPGN and the UAAG. Remember, they were accusing each other of undergoing extra registration after the screening and verification exercise. They sell themselves out to the government out there. Government were on their own until their toxic posts across the platform in the ecosystem get to the table of the government authority, and they take over the entire administrative aspect of the disbursement. So nothing has changed from the arrangement. The only difference is a review of this verification and screening exercise. How transparent is it? Currently, as we are talking, the government, through their own administrative officials, have subjected the whole screening and verification data to screening. Duplications are everywhere. The data of the grant handler was requested by the government committee, and on deeper investigations, they observed duplications of NGOs and BVNs everywhere. One individual submitting one BVN tied to more than 5, 10 to 20 NGOs. The whole process can never be conducted in this non-transparent manner. Instead of moving on with disbursement, the government decided to overhaul the whole data and make specific official screening for the data. Hence, some certain NGOs will not benefit or cheat the system or deny others the privilege of benefiting from the grant. So these are all those recent factors that are creating delay from disbursement happening in this last week of June. But despite this, you already know this process are only 1, 2, 3 days activity and it is concluded. But it's not a reason to start criticizing or losing hope in what has already gone to the manifestation stage. Nothing has affected disbursement. The only difference is that government decided to take over the entire process. The fate of the grant ecosystem has already been decided by the government. Disbursement is going to take place as anticipated. Only few changes will take place. Sometimes the portal that was scheduled to use before, we were told that schedule has been submitted to banks. It's observed that those schedules were full of discrepancies. There were palpable elements of corruptions in that activity. If grant was to be disbursed in that manner, one NGO shall receive alert more than 5 or 10 times. These are all those certain factors that cause the current delay experience in the ecosystem. So it's important for the masses to have these brief moments of patience for the government part, the government review to conclude. It's important for everyone in the ecosystem to open their minds to the realities that are going to happen very soon in this ecosystem. Things are not going to take the usual route that we all know. God can use anybody. But when you begin to say this, you now have to decide what is important to everyone is not on those structures, those platforms, what is important to you and every other subscriber is the alert in the bank account. Disbursement is 100% guaranteed, but the route of disbursement has completely been changed with the intervention of the government, and everyone should open their minds to this new reality. It might not be who you formally expect to receive alert from that will disburse to you, although these conditions is subject to change. But all this doesn't matter. What matters is the alert coming to the bank account. At the moment, the representative of these grant platforms, the grant handler, should start telling the masses the truth. It's important the heavyweight or the coordinators of these organizations to come to the public platform and start revealing the new reality, confronting the ecosystem, confronting the entire disbursement process. Hence, the supporters will stop fighting or dividing against each other. As a grant handler, tell the beneficiaries the truth of the current status of disbursement. Tell the masses the truth about the government authority we have been hearing. Tell the masses the truth on the concept of palliative or grant. Tell the masses the truth on the concept of project, regional coordinators, state coordinators. Tell the masses the truth on the entitlement of beneficiaries. All these are what is expected of the grant handler at the moment. Set people at definite directions. This arrangement has already been at the very final stage, and you know, the AGPGN has boldly come to tell the masses through the broadcast of Abdul that what is coming to the masses are palliative, as approved by the government. This decision is not from the AGPGN authorities. The Comrade Abdul that we see is just an arrowhead representing the AGPGN, not the one deciding the entitlement of recipients for this grant. Therefore, he has been able to communicate the recent decision of the government disbursement committee to the masses. Why is the UAAG representatives not communicating same truth to the masses? There have been recorded progresses recently between the grant handler and the government. Don't distract the masses away from the new realities on ground that is about revealing itself in the few days ahead. It's important for the grant handler to brief the masses on those recent occurrences, the recent instructions and directive from the government disbursement committee to the masses, instead of allowing the masses to be wallowing in confusion as it's already ongoing in the platforms. However, if you are a subscriber of the grant, understand that the federal government has taken over the administrative part of this grant. The month of June is already speedily burning out. Disbursements may not commence in the few remaining days in June, but you will start seeing palpable symptoms of disbursement before the week runs out that will best guide your direction and expectation on when the alert should come in. Be rest assured, the next week unfolding is going to hold testimonies and praises in the ecosystem. When the government are determined in executing a project, they do so with utmost commitment and determination. The grant handler might have played around owing to the profit and group or cabal interest embedded in the entire disbursement activity for them. The government has finally overhauled all these intents, and in the shortest time possible, the alerts will start trickling in. There is a recent activity ongoing on the side of the grant handler and the government committee. Immediately we get a brief of this activity, we will communicate to you.